Welcome to Orange County, the Gold Coast of California. With over 42 miles of coastline, its spectacular vistas have led many to proclaim it the California Riviera. Whether it's manicured beach towns or celebrated theme parks, all framed by oceanfront towns, the OC stands out as one of the state's iconic destinations. Featuring world-class shopping, memorable hotel experiences, delectable culinary offerings, pristine beaches, outdoor activities, and a variety of cultural delights. Every town in Orange County has its own charm and personality, and every sunset is worth watching. This is Orange County. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Balboa Bay Resort and the Newport Beach Chamber of Commerce State of the County Luncheon. Please welcome your host, Steve Rosansky.
Good afternoon, Orange County. All right, grab your seat or I'm going to have to start calling out your names, Katrina Foley. I see you there. Wow, what an awesome place we call home. I hope you were watching the video. Good afternoon and welcome to the Balboa Bay Resort and our inaugural State of the County Luncheon. Thank you. In case you didn't already know it, Orange County has the third largest economy out of the 58 counties in California with an unemployment rate of 3.2%, which is lower than both the state and federal rate. We're home to world-class educational and cultural institutions, as well as state-of-the-art medical facilities. People from all over the world come to Orange County to dine, recreate, and shop. Our infrastructure is second to none in California. As President and CEO of the Newport Beach Chamber of Commerce, I'm proud to say that we host a number of business-focused programs, including our annual economic forecast in conjunction with UCI Mirage School of Business, Wake Up Newport meetings featuring distinguished speakers, and many business networking events, giving Newport Beach businesses and businesses throughout Orange County the tools they need to thrive. But it isn't just us hosting the event today. We partner with 11 other Orange County chambers and organizations listed on the screen and in your programs to make this impactful event happen, convening Orange County leaders from business and government in this room. I'd like to give special thanks and recognition, though, to Santa Ana Chamber President Dave Elliott, who brought a number of event and table sponsors to the event today. I'm happy to say with all the Chamber's help, this event sold out 2 weeks ago, and we have over 430 people in attendance today. Probably could have sold over 500 seats if I had a room big enough. Please feel free to eat your lunch. Don't wait for me as I take a moment to recognize some of the VIPs joining us today. Now, I'm sure you know we got a lot of VIPs in this room. As you would expect at an event like this, there's dozens of dignitaries, including mayors, city council members, city managers, heads of major organizations and businesses. In my book, all of you here today are dignitaries. But instead of running through a long list, I'm going to just mention the county level electeds and officials in attendance. So first off is the chair of the Orange County Board of Supervisors, Don Wagner. Orange County Supervisor, 2nd District, Vicente Sarmiento. Orange County Supervisor, 5th District, Katrina Foley. Orange County Sheriff, Don Barnes. Orange County Treasurer, Tax Collector, Sherry Friedenrich. Orange County CEO, Frank Kim. Orange County Fire Authority Chief, Brian Fennessy. And the Director of John Wayne Airport, Charlene Reynolds. So with any new event, it really helps to have an organization step up and support as a presenting sponsor. So I want to thank Southern California Edison for being our presenting sponsor. Please welcome to the stage Cynthia Quimby, Government Relations Manager for Southern California Region.
Well, thank you, Steve, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very pleased to be here on behalf of Southern California Edison. We are proud to sponsor this inaugural State of the County Luncheon sponsored by the Chamber. And Steve, we really do appreciate your leadership and advocacy on behalf of the business community. And man, you sure know how to sell out a room. This is like packed in here. I'd also like to acknowledge one of our SCE executives, Mr. Cody Tubbs, who is joining us today, and my colleague Susan Morgan from Southern California Edison. They're both Orange County residents. We're part of the community. And as Steve mentioned, I'm the local government relations manager that serves the city of Newport Beach. Today, I wanted to just make sure that I express how much we appreciate the strong partnership we have not only with the Chamber, but also with the city of Newport Beach, with city staff, with our council members, and with our county representatives as well. As we continue to move towards a clean energy future, our partnerships with our local governments are going to be even more important, as well as with our community's business leaders, each of you. These partnerships will be critical to making sure that we are making the improvements necessary to ensure that the grid is reliable, resilient, and ready to support the needs of you, our customers. One reason I'm here on the ground on behalf of the company is to listen and receive your feedback. So if you see me at an event, please do come talk to me. It's really the purpose for us being present, at today's event. And the past 9 months I've been serving in the city of Newport Beach, and in that time we've already tackled some challenges. We've tackled them head on, and we've made some great progress working together. We're proud of the work our team has done to bring some new technologies to bear in a way that helps our customers. And we actually have a brief video that we're going to show that illustrates something that we rolled out in Newport Beach last year. Cue the video.
We're in the city of Newport Beach, and we're here to do a manhole replacement with a new technology. Our vaults are basically concrete boxes underground that house our electrical equipment and cable. They're important because we need to protect our underground equipment and cables. We got 42,000 of them, vaults and manholes, 30,000 vaults, 12,000 manholes. So we need to maintain them, we need to inspect them, repair them, shore them, replace them. The value of this work is you don't have to excavate. So you don't get frustrated customers because you're digging up the roadway. Your construction time is reduced from 30 days to to 1 week. A traditional replacement used to get us 50 years. This commodity will give us 50 years extension, but we're the first major utility to implement this technology. Businesses are happy and residents are happy because we'll roll out of here from within 1 week.
So this is an example of how we're innovating to not only, oh, thank you very much for the applause. I'm trying to go fast. I know you don't really want to hear corporate, remarks, but this is an example of how we're innovating to not only improve reliability, but also reduce costs and improve our service for our customers. And I just want to close by mentioning we do have a table outside. There are a lot of great, there's some great information, resources that, directly I think will impact your business's programs and different, funding opportunities that you may be eligible for. So please do check that out on your way out. Again, thank you to the Chamber. We really appreciate this opportunity, and we look forward to a great program today. Thank you all.
Thank you, Cynthia. What she didn't tell you is she's got a lot of great swag items out there, so definitely pick some up on the way out. So in addition to Cynthia and Southern California Edison, I'd like to recognize our other valued sponsors here. So first off is our premier sponsors, City of Hope, Orange County, University of California, Irvine, and UCI Health. All the way from Santa Ana, Caribou Industries. Our supporting sponsors, Clay Lacey Aviation, just down the road here. Shop Off Realty Investments. And ACI Jet, also over at the airport. Our centerpiece sponsor, they paid for these beautiful roses and oranges in the center of your table, and please feel free to take one of you from the table to take them home. We don't want 45 centerpieces. Is West Coast Arborist. Pat and Jolene Mahoney are here today, somewhere. Our audio-visual sponsor and my very first employer in 1985 when I came to Orange County and moved to Newport Beach, Rutan and Tucker. Our media sponsor, the Epic Times. They're also live streaming the event for us today, so thank you for that. Our program sponsor, the Irvine Ranch Water District. And certainly our event host, the Balboa Bay Resort. And Marina Dutton, I know she's here somewhere. I saw her. Thank you, Marina. The room looks beautiful. Your staff is doing an awesome job. I also want to acknowledge some additional support. Sorry about that. Mike Strauss with Vision Star Media for providing the opening video. Production Alliance Group, who helped set up the AV here today, Cox Communications, Southern California Gas Company, and AT&T. And I'd also like to thank all of you, our table sponsors out here, for making this a fantastic event and a sellout today. Thank you. And finally, before we break for lunch here for a few minutes, I'd like to recognize a special group within our chamber. It's our leadership circle members. I'm not going to list them all off. We have about 40 of them, but I will mention our platinum members today. The Balboa Bay Resort, City of Hope, Orange County, Hogue, Apollonian Business and Accounting Services, ACI Jet, Julie Lawton Design Build, Davies Locker, take your kid for a trip fishing. Simple Green, big sponsor of our boat parade. Vea Newport Beach, a Marriott Resort and Spa. Orange County Supervisor, 5th District, Katrina Foley. And certainly last but not least, Newport Beach and Company, our visitor bureau. Thank you all. All of our gold and silver leadership circle members, they should be maybe up on the screen, maybe not, but they're definitely in your program. Please take a look. Thank you all for coming. We're going to take a short break, and then we'll be back a little behind because of the valet. Thank you for your patience. And then we have a great program for you, so we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you. Today, we're very pleased to welcome 3 special guest speakers to our State of the County Luncheon. Their complete bios are in your program, so we're not going to go through the entire bio, but I will say a few brief words as I introduce them. Please come up on stage. So, first, He was appointed County Executive Officer by the Orange County Board of Supervisors on May 12, 2015. Known equally for his expertise and his collaborative approach as a problem solver, he brings to the CEO role more than 25 years of experience in planning, organization and direction, team leadership and supervision, program development and management, and financial services. Please welcome Orange County Executive Officer Frank Kim. Next, she was elected to the Board of Supervisors in 2022 to represent the newly established District 5. This is her second term on the Board of Supervisors, where she previously served District 2. She has also served in a number of elected offices, including 14 years on the Costa Mesa City Council, 2 years as the first directly elected mayor for the city of Costa Mesa, and a 4-year term on the Newport Mesa Unified School District Board. Please welcome 5th District Supervisor Katrina Foley. And he's honored to serve as the supervisor for the county's 3rd district and was voted to serve as chairman of the board in 2023, having previously served 6 years in the state assembly, 3 consecutive terms as trustee of the South Orange County Community College District, and as the mayor of Irvine. Please welcome chairman of the board of Orange County Board of Supervisors, Don Wagner.
Y'all.
Now, your mics are live, I think, or they will be, so,
Hello.
you know, unless you want to be on the evening news. Our speakers today will be focusing on 4 main areas: public safety, quality of life, the Orange County economy, and homelessness. So please hold your questions till the end of their presentations when we'll be going out to the audience for Q&A. And with that, we're going to lead off with public safety. So, I'm a former elected city council member and mayor here in Newport Beach, and I think one of the most important things, and I'm sure most of the council members and mayors here will agree, that a government can do is provide public safety. And so we have, I know, 2 fairly large issues. I hear about them all the time. They're a concern in Newport Beach, and I'm sure they're concerned all over the county, is fentanyl. That's a big one, I hear. And also, I guess it's called like crime tourism, where we have people or gangs coming in from out of the country and breaking into homes. So I'm going to start off with Don. Don, can you speak to a couple of those things?
You want me to stand, right? You
Please stand, yeah. They all want to see you.
All right, well, I don't know about that.
I want to see you.
All right, so crime and fentanyl and all of the issues around it. Briefly, it's no secret, we're getting feedback. It's no secret that Todd Spitzer won re-election overwhelmingly, talking about no LA in OC. And what that, well, yeah. And the 5 of us on the Board of Supervisors have absolutely taken that to heart. We have worked very closely with Sheriff Barnes, who you all know is here today. Where did Sheriff, was here today. And local law enforcement to make sure that what that means is that we don't, to the extent we possibly can, not give a toehold to some of the just rampant crime we're seeing up in other parts of the state. And there are challenges that we face in local elected office. There are challenges law enforcement faces in terms of their ability to respond. And what we've been trying to do at the Board of Supervisors, we do it with our legislative platform, for example, is keep the focus on the fact that we need to make sure law enforcement has the tools, law enforcement has the backing of the public, and the laws exist to actually crack down on crime, keep people in jail, keep folks out of our neighborhoods, respond promptly, appropriately, et cetera. That's something that the whole board is behind in many different ways. Fentanyl, Steve talks about being one that my office spearheaded, but it wasn't just my office. All 5 of us on the board have come together and try to draw attention to the fentanyl crisis. Real quick, and Steve, I told you this before, stop me if I start going long. But real quick, with respect to the fentanyl crisis, we've seen in Orange County a roughly 1,600% increase in fentanyl poisonings over the course of about the last 6 or 7 years. And in Orange County, that 1,600% number, as stunning, as horrible as it is better than the state. The state's number is around about 2,200%. Bottom line, this is an exploding crisis. We're seeing fentanyl come across our borders. We're seeing fentanyl adulterating drugs. We're seeing what you might think is a legal substance, a Percocet, a Xanax, tainted with fentanyl. People are dying. This board has been very aggressive in getting the word out on that. We've done a number of town halls. I've got one in Orange tomorrow night. We've done town halls throughout at least my part of the district. We've donated $20,000 per school district in my district to make sure that the high schools have the reversal agent and naloxone available, because what we're seeing is that, we've got first responders, the Sheriff's Department, Orange County Fire Authority with Chief Fennessy here, Newport Beach Police, the first responders, the ambulances, all those, they've all got Narcan or one of the opioid reversal agents with them, but they're not the first responders. The first responder ends up being the school teacher who finds a kid in a bathroom, or a parent who finds a kid, God forbid, on the floor of a living room or a bedroom. Their kid, a neighbor's kid, whatever it is. Those are the first responders. We're trying to teach them what to look for. We're trying to teach them how to use the reversal agent, and it's really, really simple, and try to get as much of it out there in the hands of people to protect. We are trying at the Board of Supervisors to be relentless on fentanyl and the rest of the crime issues. I'll wait for your questions.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you, Steve.
So the flip side of crime and fentanyl is the other half of public safety is fire prevention and our fire authority. So Katrina, this one's going to go to you. Okay. We've seen some wildfires. I was just watching on the news and reading about it this morning about fire down in Laguna de Gale, 4 acres. Luckily, they put it out quickly. Obviously things are heating up here, and they're going to get, I think, hotter this summer. We had a lot of growth with all the rain last year, so I expect we're going to see a lot of forest fires, but maybe you can talk a little bit about that, what the county is doing, for fire prevention, and certainly in the county areas and otherwise.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all for coming out here today. I love it that Dawn and I are sharing the stage, and it's a good example of what we can do in a bipartisan way when we come together, right, Dawn?
Right.
So a lot of this work that we're doing, it actually is unanimous on our board. And so as the new representative for District 5, my district now is Costa Mesa, Newport, all the way down to San Clemente. I used to be able to represent Newport Mesa, a little sleepy town. We worry about the lighting impacts on neighborhoods, parking, homelessness, and now I'm having to become an expert on nuclear energy, fentanyl, making sure that we have a railroad track that works, making sure we don't have landslides and coastal erosion, toxic algae blooms, sea lion impacts, and of course, pickleball. Okay, so these are.
Okay, but you're talking about our next subject, which is quality of life. We want to talk about fires.
I gotcha.
I got to pull you back in.
I gotcha. So part of this new district is also that it's a wildfire zone. So I'm so glad that we have our firefighters here today. Chief Fennessy, thank you for all you did. Chief Boyles. We did have a fire in Laguna Niguel. Last year during the fire season, Chief Fennessy did highlight the fact that the fires that we're seeing all year round now are largely in part due to climate change. And believe it or not, climate is changing. We do have much more dry conditions, and even though we saw record amounts of rain this year, what we're seeing is that rain and then a heat wave to follow is creating a lot of brush and vegetation that ignites easily. So whether it's Newport Coast, whether it's Laguna Niguel, Laguna Beach, we have a lot of prevention that we must do. So here at the Orange County Fire Authority and with all of our fire agencies, we're working on the preventive piece. We want to make sure that that prevention isn't actually going to cause some other problem. We want to make sure we use non-toxic prevention. That's a key. But we do need to get rid of all the dead brush and the tree limbs and dead trees. You know, it's a balance because those trees and brush, they also are habitat for wildlife. So we have to make sure that we have that balance.
So wait, let me jump in here.
I'm going to talk about fire insurance though.
Well, actually, that's what I was going to ask you to talk about, fire insurance. So here we go.
Okay, so fire insurance, how many of you have had your fire insurance rates go up this year? Raise your hand. Okay, a couple. So in the 5th District, it's predominantly in Rancho Mission Viejo, where we're seeing rates go up from, say, $243 a month to more than $1,100 a month. These are rates for homes that are mostly senior housing, where they're retired, they're on sort of a limited income, and they don't have an extra, $800, $900 in the budget every month. So working with our Building Industry Association, working with the ranch, working with our state legislators, and Ricardo Lara, our insurance commissioner, we're going to try to make sure that we have insurance that's at a reasonable rate for people. The other issue we're having is that the insurance companies are just flat out not insuring. They're not insuring new development. That's bad for our housing and how we're going to build housing. They're not insuring new properties that are new owners. So we have to really address this. And as a county, we just recently voted on a new platform that will address the insurance crisis that impacts our housing and our development and our cost of living here in Orange County. So those are the issues that we're working on, I think, collaboratively with multiple agencies involved from the state level all the way down to the local, and I think it's a united front on that.
Great, thank you, Katrina. So let's move on to our quality of life. Our quality of life here in Orange County. I'm going to throw this back to Don. And, I know you were mayor in Irvine, and there was a lot of hullabaloo and opposition, quite frankly, to a veteran cemetery in Irvine. And I know it's moved around. I don't even know where it's proposed anymore. But can you enlighten us on, are we going to ever see a veteran cemetery here in Orange County?
Okay, so yes, we are. Where is it? Where did that slide go? Put that slide back up. There's a big flag.
There's a flag. It's up there, yeah.
Well, no, it's not. There we go.
Oh, okay.
Down in the corner there's a big flag. That flag is currently flying out in Gypsum Canyon, where, and many of you, I'm sure, have seen it, where the 241 toll road and the 91 meet, and kind of as you go down the toll road, hang a right and head out to Riverside. Off on the right there is the site that the Board of Supervisors has designated for the Veterans Cemetery. And we've got the flag there. That thing is on a flagpole 100 feet high. It's 60 by 30 feet. And you can see it from miles around. That's the site of the cemetery. It was supposed to be in Irvine. There was an effort that I was making when I was mayor to get it on to the old El Toro site. What ended up happening is politics. And one particular now council member managed to put a stop to it, and at that point, the veterans pivoted, I pivoted, the state pivoted, and we found this site, which the Board of Supervisors, before Katrina and I got there, had designated, had approved. But once we got there, we ended up ramping up the efforts to get the site there, and it has been approved. State law has been changed. Thank you, Sharon Quirk Silva, up in the state legislature, carried a bill. And we've got that site now designated. I was back in D.C. a couple of months ago, meeting with the Veterans Department, their cemetery division. They have a cemetery division. When I first met with them, their cemetery division was in the basement. I thought that appropriate. They're now up on the 6th floor. I don't know what that's all about. But at the end of the day, great meeting. That's the site where we are going to get a dignified cemetery.
You didn't tell us.
Veterans.
When are we going to come out and do a ribbon cutting and a shovel ceremony?
When are we going to come out and do a ribbon cutting and a shovel ceremony? Well, we've done a few ribbon cuttings and shovel ceremonies already. The question really at this point is, when are we going to be able to start interring veterans? And the answer to that question is, Don't die yet, because it's going to take a little while. I'm not joking. We had somebody call my office the other day. I'm 80 years old. When am I getting? It's like, hang on, dude. We got you. Realistically, I'm looking at 2025.
2025, okay.
2025.
Sounds like we'll be talking about this again next year when we all convene again. So I want to move on to another quality of life kind of a thing here in Orange County. And one of them directly impacts Newport Beach as well as the surrounding communities. Another one's a little further in South County. And I'm going to ask Katrina to talk about this because they're both in her district. It's John Wayne Airport and Dana Point Harbor.
Yay.
So what's happening over at John Wayne? And when are we going to see some construction or things happening down at Dana Point Harbor?
Well, we're already seeing construction at Dana Point Harbor.
I need to get down there
Yeah,
then.
the first phase, the docks, the first and second phase are underway for the marina docks. And if I have my way, working with utility companies, are you listening? We will
Edison's
break
here.
ground in January on the parking lot. So we have a lot of work to do to get ready and to be able to do that. But as far as John Wayne Airport goes, I want to take a moment and we've introduced Charlene Reynolds, but our new airport director, but she has done a phenomenal job for us here in Orange County. She's only been here a little bit less than I have been on the board, and she's already identified $700 million in deferred maintenance in terms of our capital projects at the airport. Everything from baggage claim to the escalators, which are original. And so we really need to get the airport upgraded. We need to have a greener, cleaner airport. She's working on ways that our airport can be more sustainable into the future. And of course, most importantly to Newport and Costa Mesa, making sure that we have friendlier, quieter skies overhead and not as much pollution coming down. How do we do that? Well, we do that with an advocacy effort, which I know many in the room are participating in, Newport Beach Aviation Commission representatives, trying to get the airlines to move towards the MAX bus fleets that are quieter, greener technology, and better for all of us. Moving in a direction where we get our general aviation to comply with our Fly Friendly Voluntary Initiative and fly a quieter path of travel as they're leaving the airport. We have some of our general aviation representatives here today who've been great partners with us, so thank you all for doing your part. And you'll start to see that the baseline for what local pilots are flying so that it's quieter over the skies, over the neighborhoods rather, and we'll start to let you know that so that you as the consumers can have choices and you can start to say, hey, I'm going to use this operator instead of this one because they care about our community. John Wayne Airport has the most restrictive noise requirements and flight requirements in America, and this Fly Friendly initiative is the first of its kind, and we're really looking forward to making it work. But most importantly, we need better technology, and as soon as we get that better technology, I think we'll have quieter skies overhead.
Thank you. Well, we know here in Newport Beach that the settlement agreement is coming up in a year or two, and I'm sure we'll be reaching out.
That's right, Frank. While I was here, I got a request that we get going on working on that settlement agreement. So
Good.
Let's go.
Excellent. Work on that settlement agreement. Okay. So let's switch gears here a little. Frank's been a little bit shy down there in the end. We're going to get him involved.
Why are you here, Frank?
We're going to start talking a little bit about the Orange County economy. Their fiscal year starts July 1st, as most government agencies. So maybe Frank can enlighten us a little bit about last year, how we finished up, and what we can expect for this year and into next year. So
Right.
Frank?
Thank you very much, Steve. Can you all hear me?
No.
Is the mic on? Check.
Here, just come and use my mic.
All right, so about our economy, right? It's a little too hot. I think that's what the federal government would say. But if we look at Orange County, what do we look like? So looking at a few key economic indicators, right? Unemployment, 3.2%. That is very, very strong. Job growth, plus 5%, right? Our taxable sales is forecast at 3% this year, but that's on a base over the last 2 years where it grew 10. And then before that, 23%. So our economy is red hot, and it's having an impact in terms of the cost of housing, which creates other unanticipated issues. But when you look at it, we have a very, very productive and efficient economy. How that impacts the county? Well, number one, that sales tax money comes into the county and it helps fund our public safety. One of the largest funding sources for the district attorney and the sheriff's department is sales tax. There's a half-cent sales tax that flows directly to the county to support those programs. Additionally, it's property tax, which is forecast to grow at 6.4% next year, and that funds our county general fund, which addresses things like homelessness and other things that we'll talk about today. There's also headwinds, right? Inflation that we're all dealing with is sky high, and the Fed is busy trying to figure out how to contain and tame inflation. And there's this labor competition that has been incredibly challenging, particularly in local government, where our salaries aren't quite as high as sometimes exist in the private sector. We've got labor challenges. How does that impact the economy? Well, and the County of Orange. Well, the county is incredibly lucky in that we are well managed. We have an outstanding professional board of supervisors.
Board of Supervisors.
That's right.
Yeah,
It's all-
Absolutely.
it's all us.
100%, 100%.
Just saying.
So our budget is $9.3 billion this year. That is money, right, that is flowing into the county where we do basic infrastructure, your flood channels. When it rains, we don't worry that our house is going to float away, right? When there is a fire, we know that the property taxes that are funding Chief Fennessy's shop is out there addressing the fire. When we have issues related to our streets and roads, they're being supported by our local economy. The County of Orange is incredibly lean. We have almost no debt. Our general fund debt for a $9.3 billion organization is $125 million. We carry almost no debt. Fitch rates us AAA. Standard & Poor's rates us AA+. We have 2 months of operating reserves. So I think in this room, you can take comfort in the fact that you've got a professional management staff and an outstanding professional board that ensures that your money is safe, and the basic core infrastructure that makes Orange County a great place to live, work, and play is at work, and it's serving you, the people. In terms of what I want to leave you with, and then certainly we want to cover homelessness, what I want to leave you with is a sense of confidence that whether it is an issue related to civil unrest or issues of homelessness, issues of law enforcement, issues of fire, things that people in our community rely on government to do, we are poised, ready, and able to respond in a way that I think you can all be proud of. So thank you very much for all of your support, and please know that the county government is here for you, and we are 100% dedicated. Thank you.
So one thing I want to add to that.
Sure. What would you like to
I'd love
add?
to add, one thing that I have really been trying to advocate for is getting a county contract. I mean, we have so many contracts that small businesses, medium businesses, large businesses can contract with the county. That helps our local economy. So if you just Google doing business with OC, you can find the county portal, you can sign up to be a certified business, and then you'll get the notifications about the bids. These are things from T-shirts, uniforms, fences, plumbing supplies, graphic design, HIV dispensers, anything. You know, we have so many different needs at the county, 18,000 employees, and we really want you to be our business partners. So we hope that you'll join us.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm sure there's a few business people here and that would like to take you up on your offer. And thank you, Frank. I mean, that was a great, quick overview, but I still, you know, I moved here to Orange County in the 80s, and I still remember the bankruptcy and all the, you know, trouble it caused. So obviously you're doing an awesome job with that kind of a credit rating and those kinds of revenues, and obviously the infrastructure, which I mentioned earlier, is there's no better county in Orange County than ours. So thank you so much.
It's a new day in Orange County.
New day in Orange County, okay. So let's move on to our last topic, which is homelessness. It seems to be the buzzword. Everybody's talking about homelessness. I know, like when I was a city councilman, the two things that people came to me about were the airport and traffic. We went through an election, and I didn't hear one word from a Newport Beach resident about airport and traffic. Everybody was talking about crime, which we've already covered, and homelessness, and what are we doing? And I know there's lots of programs, there's lots of money being spent, but maybe we could hear a little bit more about that. I think we have the video. Are we going to show that first? Or do you want to introduce it, Frank?
So we'd like to show you a very short video. It's about 3 minutes long. Homelessness is a visible issue, right, within our community. So we get lots of calls every day about a homeless individual here, a tent here, impacts here, et cetera. But I think it's important for us to share with you kind of where we've come from, right? Where we were 7, 8 years ago, and the progress that we've made in conjunction with the cities, with the nonprofits, with businesses, and our community. So let us show you this video, and we'd be happy to address your questions.
In beautiful Orange County, known for its pristine beaches and famous theme parks, a hidden crisis was unfolding. Imagine this, along the once tranquil Santa Ana River, hundreds of people experiencing homelessness. Tents and scattered belongings flooded the landscape, just yards from iconic landmarks. Between early January and early April 2018, county departments worked tirelessly to help over 700 individuals who were experiencing unsheltered homelessness find shelter in motels and temporary accommodations. Blue Shirts First teams from Orange County Healthcare Services led the way, engaging and serving the homeless population with unwavering dedication. Overcoming obstacles, Orange County removed tons of debris, needles, and hazardous waste, restoring safety and dignity to the area. By April 7, 2018, the Santa Ana River reopens, reclaiming its serenity. At the Plaza of the Flags in the Santa Ana Civic Center, rows of tents were dismantled, providing housing services to over 200 people seeking refuge from the streets. Overall, nearly 1,000 people from the Santa Ana Riverbed and Plaza of the Flags received shelter in 2018. Now the challenging job of creating sustainable temporary and long-term housing was necessary for both the county and our city partners. The county's first year-round emergency shelter, Bridges at Kramer Place in Anaheim, opened in 2017, serving up to 200 adults experiencing homelessness, providing shelter and a pathway to a brighter future. In 2021, the Yale Navigation Center in Santa Ana became a haven, serving 425 individuals experiencing homelessness in the Central Service Planning area with essential resources and support. The county has also provided financial support to many cities in Orange County for their respective shelters and/or efforts to address homelessness. The county thanks our city partners for their leadership and support. COVID-19, the state of California had the foresight to provide monies to purchase hotels and motels with the goal of converting these sites into permanent supportive housing. This statewide initiative, called Home Key, has awarded a total of 6 grants for Orange County projects, creating a total of 391 additional beds for permanent housing. To truly make an impact on the persons experiencing homelessness, more affordable and permanent supportive housing units need to be made available. The county continues to make progress in this challenging economic environment. The county's efforts and those of our city and nonprofit partners are being tracked via the point-in-time count. The county's 2022 point-in-time count revealed a captive tale. A total of 5,718 people were found to be without a home. This marked a significant 17% decrease compared to the past 3 years in our county. Ongoing efforts to address homelessness continue every day as the county partners with our 34 cities, nonprofits, business leaders, and healthcare organizations such as Be Well and CalOptima to develop and implement long-term solutions for increased housing stability here in Orange County. Together, we can rewrite the narrative, guided by compassion and resilience. Together, we can change lives and our county's health and welfare for all its residents.
Well, certainly the video highlights a lot of the efforts that the county's working on, but maybe you want to expand a little bit on, Don?
Yeah, let me take a stab expanding on it. There is certainly good news in that video, and the numbers are real and the progress is real, but don't see that video and realize that the board and our staff don't take that video in any way to say job accomplished. It is, okay, progress, finding some things we're doing right, going to keep doing them. Key to that will be that partnership that was mentioned towards the end of the slide. There are, though, a whole lot of things to keep in mind about homelessness, and that is this. There are lots of different reasons why folks are homeless. You can't deny there are substance abuse and alcohol abuse issues. There are mental illnesses. There are folks who are unemployed or underemployed. There are folks, pick the reason, all of which is a long way of saying, and there's not just one solution. We've got to have services that provide, they call them wraparound services, but they provide all of the resources to get someone wherever they happen to be with whatever has led them to a homeless condition to get them the help they need. And so we are trying to partner with the cities, partner with the state as well to bring those resources to the table. It is, in my mind, not just simple, oh, let's just build more units. First of all, the cost to that is absolutely prohibitive, but imagine if you've got someone who is in the throes of a mental crisis and you just give them a place to live, but you haven't fixed the underlying problem and you haven't done them any particular favors. So we are cognizant of that at the county and trying to come up with the whole panoply of solutions to meet folks where they actually, the homeless actually are. Last little secret though, and part of this is just enormously difficult. The numbers I've seen say you have to touch an individual homeless person on average in excess of 20 times before they're willing to say, okay, I'll let you help me. And it's just a constant daily effort. Frank's got a team that goes out there every day, and I've had staff members go with them to see what they do on the ground. It is a relentless effort. There is a lot of work left to do, but I do think there's been some progress, and we're trying to take those cues and continue that progress. And that is something that I will tell you with zero hesitation, all 5 of us on the board are 100% behind.
Thank you, Don. So Katrina, I know you worked hard on this in Costa Mesa when you were the mayor and city council member. I know our city partners with Costa Mesa on a homeless shelter. Is there anything you want to add to the conversation before we go to Q&A?
I do think that it's really important that we get an understanding about the whole continuum of care. So yes, we have a shelter in partnership with Newport Beach in Costa Mesa. And just yesterday, since this video was made, we've actually increased the number of home key units to over 500 because yesterday we voted on another Costa Mesa Newport partnership for a motel conversion of a blighted motel and turning that into housing for veterans and others. But there's a whole continuum. There's the shelter. Where we have a gap is the transitional housing for people who need treatment, whether it's recuperative care, whether it's disabled individuals, or maybe it's drug and alcohol treatment. We have a gap there, and so we're trying to fill that gap. The state just gave us $37 million to be able to do bridge housing. So we're working with partners across Orange County to fill that gap, that transitional area. And then we have the fact that the cost of living in Orange County, I mean, I have a 25-year-old and a 23-year-old. They're back at home. We have 4 generations now in our house. I built an ADU, an accessory dwelling unit, in my backyard for my 96-year-old grandmother and my 76-year-old mom. Now I have my 2 college-age sons living with us. And yeah, we thought we were getting empty nesting, no such luck. But the issue is that in Orange County, in order to qualify for Section 8 housing, government-funded housing, you can make $80,000 a year. That's the reality of our median income levels here in Orange County. And so we are pricing the next generation, we're pricing workers, we're pricing our own family members out of the market. So we do need to build housing, because if we don't build housing for the next generation, we are all going to be old and have no one to care for us. So we do need to build housing, and I'm working on that as well. But it's a whole continuum. You know, we have to have housing for all the different types of needs. And as part of our master plan for aging that we are embarking on here in Orange County, part of that is going to be, what is the plan for an aging population for housing? And so that's really important to us at the county, and we'll just keep working it. And thanks for all of you who collaborate. And now that I'm representing South County, I'm trying to get some of our South County friends to have a shelter in South County, because we're the only area that does not have a shelter. And the reality is, if you don't have a shelter, you can't enforce your anti-camping, you can't do the things that protect the quality of life for the greater community. And so we are really trying to encourage them to do that. I told Frank, if we can provide the funding, they just need to tell us what the site is. So Frank, you're going to help, right? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Katrina. Is there anything you want to add, Frank, or?
Nope, I think we're good.
Okay, and your microphone's on now, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so we're going to head into the Q&A. We've got a couple of you out in the audience with microphones. Raise your hand, they're going to go over. I'll just start it off quickly and ask Frank a question. So Frank, rosy predictions, all that, how do you factor a potential recession in on your planning? Either late this year or in 2024.
I'm not an economist, but I do read and pay attention to the economic forecast by Chapman, Anderson, UCI, et cetera.
And the Newport Beach Chamber forecast, October 11th in this room.
Right.
Okay.
I'd be happy to listen to that as well. I think, by and large, most of the economists generally forecast a mild recession or no recession at all. So I think we're not forecasting anything dire. We're being very cautious in terms of our assumptions for the county budget. But we don't think that there is this large recession coming.
Okay, well, that's encouraging. I know some reporter asked me earlier this year. I said no recession, so hopefully we're both right. Do we have a question out here? Does anybody, raise your hand quick, right over here, Jeff, right here, right there. Mr. Teomina, stand up and you can ask your question.
Check. I want to thank you all for what you've been doing. You have changed the tidal wave of homelessness. You have made a difference. Frank, Judge Carter, all the city managers in our county. The question is this, 2 parts. What can the private sector do to double down the efforts you've already made? And 2, where can we get and how do we get more funding from above, state and federal? Thank you.
Well, that's a real tough question. I would say that Supervisor Foley talked about the continuum. One of the continuums we have is we go out and we outreach to homeless. We get them services, we bring them into a shelter, which is a safer environment. We get them stable, we get them their IDs, we get them connected to healthcare. Then they need to go out and get a job. That's where the private sector can have a role in terms of supporting jobs for this population. After they get a job, then they want to go out and get their own form of housing. In Orange County, there is a lack of affordable rental housing. So that is the hardest piece because that results in the flow, right? You want to be able to bring these people in, get them stable, and then get them right connected and in jobs and into housing. But there's not enough housing. That is what takes the longest amount of time in our community to build out.
I would say also, just this morning, I was now the new chair of the Orange County Housing Finance Trust. And so one thing that the private sector can do is to invest in the finance trust, because the finance trust is a way for us to do gap funding, for us to kind of give a little bit more so that developers can get the tax equity credits or that they can build. We actually also today just approved a loan program for accessory dwelling units. And we're giving 11 loans in each of the different service planning areas. So investing in that loan program is another way that the private industry can help, because we need to get some private dollars. And as far as money coming from the federal government or the state government, you know, I'm working really tirelessly to try to secure those dollars. And I know that all of us have relationships, so help us to outreach to our congressional representatives and help them to understand that Orange County, we need those funds. We need to be able to provide for the community on that whole continuum. So thank you, Bill, for all the work that you do. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Another question? Do we have back there?
So Katrina, you mentioned ADUs, and I know our properties in Corona Del Mar and Newport Beach has escalated. What are the boundaries? What are the restrictions? What are the laws with ADUs today?
Well, each community, each city and the county, we all have different ordinances, but essentially the state has made it a mandate that cities have to have allow for accessory dwelling units. Now, I will say this, kudos to the city of Newport Beach for waiving all the permit fees for accessory dwelling units, because as somebody who built an ADU, the permit fees are really cost prohibitive for many people. But every community has a different set of planning design guidelines, and it also just depends on your lot configuration, whether or not you have utility easements, et cetera. But we are working in my office to put together a grid of all the different communities and all the ADU ordinances so that we can have sort of one-stop shopping for here's all the ADU ordinances, here's the requirements, here's where you can click on a link and go to whatever city you're in and learn more.
Do you want to add something, Don?
I got it. I can't resist. That chart that her office is going to put together is going to be fantastic until the legislature comes back in January, and then they're going to start changing it all over again. And that's the unfortunate reality that we see, that I see in local government, is we can't plan necessarily, you can't plan in Newport Beach today, because tomorrow the state legislature is going to do something that may or may not make sense, but will be different. And so what we need is, and what I would love to see the private sector do, is put the pressure on Sacramento to let the locals try to figure it out, because we also want to solve the homeless problem. We also want to build more houses and make it easier to live in our communities. You know, a lot of us go from city councils up to Sacramento and sort of forget about the idea that the locals also want to solve the problem. So if you folks could put some pressure, and most of our local electeds get it here. It's in other parts of the state where they don't get it anywhere near as much as they need to. Let the locals make some of these rules, because we also want to solve the problem. Real quick, when you talk about ADUs, this is my favorite example lately of utter incoherence in Sacramento, is that there's a bill right now that allows, or that prohibits parking on any street corner, residential, commercial, doesn't matter, any street corner 20 feet from the corner. 20 feet in each direction. And the reason is real simple. They want to keep the cars out of there so that the pedestrians, when they're in the crosswalk, can be seen by the drivers. Makes all the sense in the world, right? Except there's now no parking for those ADUs that you put up there. Oh, and by the way, last year they got rid of jaywalking as a crime in this state, so people won't be going to the corners, they'll be cutting out. It's utterly incoherent. What they need to do is let the locals solve things. But in my opinion, and if you have the ear of folks up in Sacramento, let them pick a couple of priorities, stick with those, solve those. Because if you're trying to fix everything at once, you get things like that stupid bill that doesn't let you park near a street corner, solving a problem that you made worse the year before. Utter incoherence. Help us with that, please.
Thank you, Doc.
This is why I love local government, because I don't have to get all into all that partisan stuff. I love being at the local level and really focusing on working with the community on problem solving, and some of the stuff we have to deal with, some of the procedures that are not flexible, I think are frustrating to many of us.
Microphone, there we go. Certainly, as a chamber president, and I deal with a lot of businesses, and you know, reporters will call and ask me, like, what's the business climate? What's your biggest problem? And honestly, government regulation is our biggest problem. I mean, we have small and medium-sized business owners. I'm an attorney. I run a small business, a chamber, and I can't sometimes interpret the laws or stay on the right side of it because it's just so complex. So the best thing we could do, certainly at the county level and definitely at the state level, is make it a little easier on government regulation and businesses. So last question in the back. I promised to get you out on time. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for all the work you've all been doing on homelessness, but I'm going to transition the conversation more to crime and fentanyl. I'd like to hear specifically about what the county is doing to address the fentanyl crisis, which is something affecting every nationality, every socioeconomic group in our community. We see social media posts every day about the loss of a child. I'd like to hear you all speak a little bit more to that. Thank you.
Yeah, so fentanyl is, as we said before, it's really a major crisis. And I'll give you some context. There's a stat that you could fill up 10 737 planes every week, and that's the impact that we have for a year of impacts of people dying from fentanyl. And that is just unacceptable. What we're doing, we have the opioid settlement. A lot of the county, the cities all participated in suing the drug manufacturer companies that were really pushing opioids and causing addiction in our communities. And so we received settlement funds. And so we're taking some of those funds. We're doing, like the chairman has done, several town halls, educating parents, educating the community, educating school staff about the impacts of fentanyl, making sure that people know, and I love the Sheriff's Department has a really great example where they say, you're making chocolate chip cookies. You got a batch over here filled with chocolate chips, and all these cookies have lots of chocolate chips. And you have a batch over here that have no chocolate chips. You don't know which cookie you're getting that has the fentanyl chocolate chip. So you just really can't take the chance. So that is something we're doing. The naloxone, getting out into the community, Narcan, naloxone, yeah. And we actually, through our healthcare agency, we're trying to get that out broader into the community, into the schools. I'm working with our HC, our healthcare agency, and our libraries to get all of our librarians trained, get people in all of our cities trained, making sure that there's access to this really life-saving drug that it's like a nasal spray, and it reverses the impact of fentanyl. Making sure that our public safety officers are trained so that they don't accidentally get exposed to fentanyl when they go to resuscitate someone or save their life. So there's a lot of very specific things that we're doing, but really it's up to all of us to keep spreading the word that it is just so dangerous to do any drugs, Xanax, cocaine, any Oxycontin, anything you're buying on the street right now is likely laced with fentanyl.
15 seconds, Don.
Oh, I can't do anything in 15 seconds. The Sheriff's Department has been working overtime, very aggressively to identify and try to halt the fentanyl that's coming into the county and address it from the law enforcement side. There is not a lot that the local elected leaders can do on the subject in terms of things like penalties, other than pressuring Sacramento, which we have done. And again, a bipartisan thing. Senator Tom Umberg had a bill that this board backed unanimously that basically gives, like the DUI advisement, if you get picked up for a DUI, you get an advisement that if this happens again and you kill somebody, it could be a second-degree murder charge. The idea in Senator Umberg's legislation was, if you're a fentanyl dealer and the next time someone dies, you could be looking at a second-degree murder charge, and that bill died in committee up in Sacramento. So a lot of the change in terms of giving our Sheriff's Department, the Newport Beach PD, the rest of law enforcement the opportunity to deal with this aggressively and smartly needs to come out of Sacramento. And again, a little bit of help. We saw it just last week with the human trafficking bill. Public pressure does matter. And so let's put that on the fentanyl side as well and start pushing for the tools our local law enforcement needs to crack down on this fentanyl problem.
Great. Thank you, Don.
Yeah, and one thing I will say, we have a lot of businesses here. We have Fashion Island, South Coast Plaza. We are here to help you if your employees want to get trained on how to use the Narcan. We're here to provide that for you. I mean, it is ridiculous that we have gotten to the point, as far as the state laws go, where we can't even get the state legislature to pass an admonishment. We can't even get them to address social media drug dealing. It is a little ridiculous, and I think all of us, many of us who are moms and parents, are just frustrated. You know, it's personal for me. My husband's the golf coach for Costa Mesa High School, and he has had 2 students die in the last 3 years from fentanyl poisoning. And so I see our Newport Mesa Unified School District friends out there, so please do take us up on our offer and let us help.
Thank you, Katrina.
And another
Frank?
thing.
What? No. I'm pulling the rug on you now. Frank, anything you want to add to that? Good. Great. It's 1:31. I'm a minute over. I want to, hopefully you've learned something here today. You can take it back with you. Big round of applause for our speakers.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Also, I want to thank our presenting sponsor, Southern California Edison, our leadership circle members, our sponsors today, our table sponsors, the Balboa Bay Resort, my staff at the Chamber who helped me put on this awesome event, and certainly all of you in attendance. And just remember, if you're not a member of a Chamber of Commerce, you should be. Join today. Thank you. See you next year.
Thank you,
Nice,
Steve.
thank you.